really, what I kind of just like to do is just to get a better understanding of how we are here today and kind of go back a few years even, just to get to know you and your family a little bit. So, do you go by Tatiana, or do you have a nickname?
Tatiana.
Tatiana? Okay. How many children do you have?
5.
3?
3.
Okay, yep. All right. And how old is your oldest?
4.
No, we just had, that's when I would give her solid food.
Okay. While you were at work, did you leave work to breastfeed, or did you leave pumped bottles at home for Seth to feed?
I left pumped bottles at home.
Okay.
Feeding the children has never been a real part of your responsibility.
A little bit. I've been feeding like her dinner. I feed her tons of solid food. I feed her 3 or 4 of those, those Gerber cups.
Yeah.
She just wolfs them right down, no problem.
When did you guys start with her on solid foods?
It's been a couple months now. Maybe since April, because that's when Tatiana started working at her job.
Work is developed. Every child's different, I know that, but...
They all were very engaging and active. And yeah, roly-poly is a great age for all of them, actually.
Okay.
The only thing they were late on was walking.
Was she always thinner?
She was always petite.
Always petite.
Yeah, she was never, nothing chunky about her.
So at 6 months, did your hours change? Is that why these habits changed, or did they change because or a combination of both?
It could have been a combination of both. I know because she was growing, and she was eating more, and you were encouraging the solid food so she can gain more weight.
And how do you feel about weight size? Was she okay, or was she...
I was a tad concerned, but then I remembered, I'm a mom, so I'll just worry about anything.
Sure.
But then I remembered Elizabeth and how petite she was then, and how she would fill in lengthwise, but not widthwise until she was about a year.
Well, what was your tad concern? What was that? Was she just not gaining enough weight, or was that the concern?
I think what got to me was seeing like other babies just so chunky and always hearing like, oh, she's so small. And I was like, yes, she's premature, she's petite.
Mm-hmm.
Leave alone,
Yeah.
And also, I forget, like, all these babies are formula fed, and there's nothing against formula. Sometimes mothers need to do it, but the formula is what chunks up the baby.
So at 6 months, other than a little bit underweight, you considered her to be appropriate size?
Yes, and developmentally as well. I mean, she was
doing real well developmentally?
Yeah, she was already putting her hands on the floor and just looking around.
And you're educated in this area, so if there's anyone that should know, it would be you. I mean, probably better than us do.
I'd like to think so.
At what point did you guys become concerned about her weight?
Let's put it this way. She never was sickly in any way. Mm-hmm. No health indicators that said anything was wrong other than that she was skinny, which she started putting on weight recently. We really started pounding the solid food down in the last month or so. But I kind of was like, because my mom's always been honest about it. Always.
She's always on it. Get some food in this kid.
Yeah, she always like, oh, wait, you guys feed now. Come on, go look at the garbage. I mean, there's I can't feed the kid enough. So yeah, there's been a couple mornings where she had been sleeping for 15, 16 hours straight.
She got up at 9 o'clock, and you were so tired, weren't you?
And she went to bed when? The night before that?
7 o'clock.
Okay.
Then she would eat like crazy, and then she would doze off again. Like she was ready for bed immediately after eating.
Did she have a routine the last 3 days? Or
no, it was a bit erratic. I would try and keep her up just because I was worried that she was sleeping so much.
Mm-hmm.
But when she wanted to sleep,
Tell me about today. I know it's tough.
Yeah, I just kind of woke up like a regular day. I wasn't feeling very well last night. So I kind of, I slept in because I didn't sleep very well. I think I rolled out of bed like 8 to 8:30, took care of some chores, and then I laid back down. And then my wife told me she was gonna go right up the street to the neighbor's house to go get some kids. And when she came back, I woke up, told me, and that's that.
So what did you do when she told you that?
I split out of bed and raced to the room and,
So
started.
you're helpless, right? Like, you didn't know what to do.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I could tell she was dead from looking at her.
Yeah, I couldn't.
She's a mom.
Right.
She's good. So,
Yep.
I'm used to dealing with a lot of dead bodies with this farm.
Yeah.
So I know what they look like. That was that.
Yesterday morning, when you got her up at 7, she had spit up?
No, this morning.
Oh, this one.
At 9, when I got her up, when I tried to get her up,
Yeah.
I thought maybe she choked on her spit, and that's why.
What color was her spit up?
It was foamy and
So where was her spit up at?
on the side of her mouth, the side of her face.
And then that's when you noticed that she was unresponsive. Was
Yeah.
this morning when you saw that? And what happened next?
Excuse me. Her eyes were open.
Did anything else look strange other than obviously the spit up and that her eyes were open? Or other than that, did she look as usual?
She's just cold.
Okay.
So I went in to get Seth. It's an emergency, and he's like, and I was just so shocked, and he reminded me I needed to start. So I took her from the bed and I put her on her changing table, and I started CPR, and I just.
I know this is tough.
So I did a 2-finger touch on her chest and her back, and I wiped her mouth, and I did. When I was pumping her chest, there was like bubbles coming out of her mouth. So I thought maybe that's why I thought she choked. And then maybe if I kept pumping, maybe it would come out, and then she'd cough and wake up. It was wiping the bubbles, and I was giving her air and giving her pumping with my fingers, with my 2 fingers. Maybe I should have done more.
Nope, you're doing it right.
And she was still so cold, and it's not just me the whole time, and he just asked me, is she dead? Is she gone? While he's crying, just asking me, is she gone? And it's so hard to say yes, and I just said yes. I had no idea what to do then at all. What do we do?
So what did you do next?
Call my dad. So I just called him and, said, hey, should I call the police or what? I don't know how this works.
Your mom and I are on our way. Call the police. Let them know what happened, and we'll try and get there before they do.
It had been about an hour and some change, and I was starting to get impatient because I did not want to. I know how it looks when people wait to make a police call, so I just.
So what did you guys do during the 2 hours?
We sat there and cried.
Yeah.
And then we just spent the entire time on the couch, waiting and crying.
Did you clean anything up? Yeah, we cleaned up the house a little bit. Boy, was just a match. I knew we were going to have my parents over.
I want you to think about this for a minute. I want you to think for a second and put yourself in our shoes. And then you have to go into that house and you have to look at that precious little angel. Okay? Do you think she was healthy, honestly?
When you look at her size, and you can see every single bone in her body, do you think she was healthy?
We know this isn't easy, Tatiana, but we need to know what happened to her. What was going on?
So when did she start losing all that weight?
The past 2 days.
But she's lost so much weight that you can't lose that much in 2 days. I've never seen a child that skinny. Never. And here's the thing. You're obviously a very concerned mom, but at what point did you know, what point did you think something was wrong? Because I know that you knew something, or you thought something wrong. You are an intelligent, educated woman. She can't even weigh 8 pounds right now. She doesn't weigh 8 pounds. When's the last time that you actually inspected her, that you looked at her? Tell me the truth.
Every time when I changed her, and I think I just may have been just so blinded.
What were you blinded by? Because I know, listen, you are an intelligent, articulate, college-educated, early childhood development. You know when you look at someone that something's wrong. I have a picture of her right here. I'm prepared to show you. That tells you no medical treatment. As dumb as I am, I'm not near as intelligent as you. I can't speak the words you can speak. I am not you. And even I can look at this photo and I can say, whoa, something's wrong. It put tears in our eyes when we walked in there. It was that obvious.
Tatiana, I'm going to be quite honest with you right now, okay? One parent to another, right? And I'm going to try and control my emotions, all right? I've been to a child death investigator school, and I've seen photos and images of children that have been malnourished. And I'm telling you right now, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh, no, really?
Yes.
Oh.
She only 8 pounds.
Okay.
She weighs 6 pounds. I mean, she's tiny. Was that never an alarm for you? She's not where she needs to be. I can see all of her bones.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I just told you in regards to that matter. So yes, there was, which is what I told you. I also generally, I don't trust the medical system so much as other people. I know how they work, and I know they're in business, and that healthy people don't make them any money.
But looking at your daughter, looking back, you as a parent, as a father, didn't you have any concern for her, looking at her?
Yes, I did. I was kind of more in that I have never encountered a health problem where basically if you don't do the right things and be patient, that it works itself out, especially with the kids. I was not happy about how thin she was, but I also, have the belief that, God didn't make us all, the same.
I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this job for a long time, okay? And he'll tell you when I walked in that bedroom today, all right, I started crying. And I looked at her for a millisecond, and I knew that she wasn't right. And I knew that she wasn't right for some time, okay? And you're her father.
Yep. And I'll tell you, I saw her when she was dead, too. She was much more gaunt when she was dead than she ever was when she was alive. I mean, I got pictures on my phone.
How did you not, when you looked at her a day and a half ago changing her diaper, and realize that my daughter is skin and bones? When I looked at her belly in the house, okay, and I'm not exaggerating this.
I know.
I could see the outline of her intestines through her stomach. I could see her spine completely through her back. I could see every one of her ribs through her chest.
When did you start praying about it?
Consistently and heavily the past 4 days.
So 3-4 days ago, you started praying. What were your prayers?
We stopped her gain weight. She's eating lines and it's sticking.
You guys knew enough was wrong to start heavily and consistently praying. Why didn't you seek help? No.
say anything to Seth.
Seth had to know. He was never hold her?
Yes. Didn't think we needed to bring her to a doctor.
There's a dynamic here that we're trying to figure out. There is a dynamic here. I'm going to tell you, I know it. I know there's a dynamic, and I feel that you wanted to get her help. I'm trying to just figure out why you didn't.
I think I was worried about another GPS call from the doctors, and I thought that Mary would get better and it would be okay.
No, I want to know out of you two, which one of you wanted to go to take her to the doctor?
I know he didn't, and I didn't for a long time, and until recently it just became a little thought in my head that maybe we should, and then I was worried about CPS and about just losing faith.
The thing is that it's like, yeah, she was skinny, but that would be like the only thing. She was thin.
No, wasn't thin.
Yes, sir. I know. I picked her up. I know how skinny she was. It used to hurt. What am I going to do? Like inject her with liposuction? And what are the doctors going to do? There's more. You know what the leading cause of death in this country is, don't you? Yeah, it's medical malpractice.
It is. I'll give you that.
It's more dangerous. It's more dangerous to take your kid to the doctor than
That's not what most people think. Most people think it's common.
You never once expressed to Seth that, hey, this isn't good. Look at her.
No, I didn't.
Did he ever even make a comment about her body? You guys looked at her, and he never said anything about it?
No.
You know how he described her to us on the phone? I could even listen to the 911. He described her as, nope, she's dead as a doornail.
Do you believe she was beyond help already?
Oh, yeah. She was dead as a doornail.
Let me ask you an honest answer. Do you feel responsible in any way for what happened today?
I realize it's a bit of a trap question, but
No,
or do you just straight honest?
Or do you think it's just God's will?
Well, just because it might be God's will doesn't mean that there's not that it's not His will according to our actions, or it doesn't mean that we're not responsible in some way for what has come about. And so, I take responsibility on myself for anything that goes wrong in my life at all, even if it's totally not my fault. It's still, what could I have done? For me, do I take some responsibility? Yeah. I'll never forget it.
In layman's terms, she died because she was dehydrated and no food.
Starvation and dehydration.
And here's the thing, we're not. I know, I get it. The thing for me is it's almost like a hellish miracle because I don't know how. I remember going like this. Let me talk to you a minute, okay? Neither of us is saying that either of you don't love your kids, because it is obvious you do. Okay? It's obvious. But it's also very obvious that you're lying to us right now. By your reckoning. No, hold on. Now, by my reckoning, yes, because you weren't there. You can't say, and so to say that it's a lie, that's something you're going to have to bring up with God in your own day. Hold on. Okay, I got the evidence, man.
Okay, we're not doctors. What the NE is saying is that she starved. Okay, that's what we're saying. So if that's the case, we're not nutritionists either. But there wasn't enough frequent feedings to sustain her. Now this is her size. That's what she looked like when we removed her from here.
The ME said, and he does, she had at least 2 autopsies a day, has never seen a case this bad. Looks like she was in a concentration camp. Everything you're saying to me is terrible. It makes me feel like absolutely, but I don't know what to say because I said her, do you think people in concentration camps that look like that got that way overnight? No, but they gradually start looking worse like that for a while. So much so that your wife thought a couple of days ago she was probably going to die. And my guess is, I'll tell you, I think you're lying because she would have said her words were gravely ill and that she thought she was going to die. I also know you guys are trained to lie, so we do from time to time. Are we lying to you now? Absolutely not. Which is also why there's no emotion because you already knew she was going to die. Now, you sit across from this table and call yourself my brother and say things like that.
I think it's possible. You tell me.
There's no justice for her. There's no crime. There's no
crime in this?
Look, I know that the American court system will come up with a crime. The reason why it's like hard for me is because this is a very new idea that like just every time somebody dies, it has to be like somebody has to go into a box or somebody's got to be convicted. I mean, it used to be common for kids not to make it. It's called natural selection, and it's a hard part of real life on Earth. I don't know how
you feel bad about this.
What do you think? There's a difference between,
Almost sounds to me like you're saying, she was weak. Oh, well, I don't care about
I know that's how you take it, but I'm not really too worried about it when I get up in front of a judge or a jury. So it's a hard thing for me. It's a hard thing for me.
Do you think you've done anything wrong?
Well, like I said, there are certainly some things that I would do differently in hindsight. Nothing is keeping me up at night.
Is this something, and we're about done, okay? But is this something you would ask Jesus for forgiveness for?
No. I'm still.
They're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest, which is often like a cotton swab or in the inside of your cheek. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree, where they're alleging you knowingly or intentionally caused serious physical harm to a child. They're talking about this Mary Welch. It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than life.